There's definitely something in the Kool-Aid in Michigan jam scene. The Michigan jam scene is so cool, man. It's like a big family. Everyone is so supportive. If you're up and coming and you're doing something cool, like you're gonna get on a bill with the other coolest band in town. You see a show and you're like, man, there's so many people having a great time at this show. This is amazing. I wish my band could do that. It's like, well, you can like be on a bill with that band like next week or whenever you want. You know, there's no like, you gotta earn your stripes, kid, or anything like that.
Weird Music Podcast, Ma Baker edition. We've got Jordan Smith. So Jordan here is in Ma Baker, one of the most badass, underrated bands you may not have heard of. And if you have heard of them, lucky you. Jordan, what's up, man?
Hey,
glad
Cam.
to have you on the podcast. So to start off, you know, Ma Baker, you're an up-and-coming band. There might be some people who this is their first introduction to them. Tell us, you know, what's good with Ma Baker?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Ma Baker is a jam band, per se, from Southeast Michigan. We claim Ann Arbor, but we all live in surrounding cities of Ann Arbor. But that's just where we kind of have our hub for shows that we play. So we're a jam band. We're improvisational in nature, and we focus on kind of groove, like group grooving, right? So like just a lot less of soloing, but we can get into kind of like the nature of our actual improvisation later. But so we're a band of friends who love to make music together. We actually all went to the same high school, PSEP high school. So it's a campus of 3 different high schools. So there's like 7,000 people. So we didn't actually know each other, although we went to the same high school. We ended up meeting after high school and just we got a storage unit together and we put a drum set in there and a couple amps, and we would just go to school, like community college, take some music classes, and then be in this storage unit until
So how many years
4
ago was
a.m. This was
how long has it been?
So that was 2013, and that was when we first met. And so that was just, there was a really long gestation period, because that was really, I mean, we were by no means musicians at that point. We were learning literally how to play music in that unit together, you know? So it was like learning how to walk, you know? We just would show up there, start playing, start drinking or smoking or whatever we were doing, and just learned how to communicate in that way.
So you've been playing together for 8 years. I'm on your Spotify, and your songs have all less than 1,000 listens. But so people might be like, oh, well, fuck this. But then you go and you listen to some of this shit, so locked in, undeniably just like, whoa, when you're listening, especially to that new live album you came out with this year. So
thank you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no wonder you've been playing together for 8 years. You mentioned, like, you know, alluding to music as a form of communication, talking about improv. If you're a jam band, like, what does that, like, from a musical standpoint, really mean the way you guys approach music, kind of those unstructured parts between choruses, between verses? Like, you know, you want to talk a little bit about how your band approaches improv?
You know, depending on your level of interest in jam bandery, you've probably heard people use the you know, the term conversation when people talk about music, and it's a very, very common thing. To me, it's a lot less like, you know, an actual vocal conversation, and it's this weird thing that happens on both a subconscious and a conscious level. But most of the time, for me personally, just as a human, a lot of the conscious thoughts going on are almost irrelevant to the actual connection and the conversation that's really going on. Right? A lot of the thoughts in my head are like, man, look at that cool light over there. It literally has nothing to do with the music. And the music is kind of coming from this like subconscious place.
So it's
Um,
like you all are locked into a groove, you know, almost in a trance, and
right.
you're playing this thing, and before you know it, you're it's being played through you, like, but then you're just like not even necessarily consciously doing, like, meaning to pronounce the statements you're making with your instrument. So as a person doing that, like, how do you lock yourself into that mindset? What is that mindset? You know, it's like this phrase wu wei, like non-action, like be letting it flow through you. Like, how exactly though, let's say you had like a younger cousin who's like, I want to jam. How do you approach that mental state?
I think the best way to do it is just to do it. And I think, like I said, a lot of times those thoughts will be sometimes even like, oh man, am I forgetting to do something? There doesn't seem to be a correlation as to whether I'm like in this perfect Zen state of mind, and I'm really feeling and listening, or to whether I'm like, ah man, did I leave the oven on? Like it doesn't there that seems to have zero correlation as to how connected I am in the music, which is interesting to me because I always thought, I need to get into this Zen like mindset. I need to get myself, but in reality, I think it's just about doing it. And if you just are jamming, some part of you is greater than what's happening here, and it is connecting to that part of the fellow musicians. And it's just about, I think the mental thing is just about whether you want to enjoy the ride as a listener or not, like um so I'd say if I had a little cousin here, I would say just do it, man. Just start playing, and try to think of, nothing and just listen, right?
So it's just
And
like jumping in and allowing it to like take over.
right. I think it's just gonna happen regardless. And at least with us, that's the way we learned how to play, was like we didn't know a bunch of Rolling Stone songs, or we didn't know a bunch of anyone. Nobody knew any of the same songs. So we just would play whatever we could, literally. And then they started to turn into like intelligible things, just like like a baby learning how to speak. But I think that having almost nothing in your mind is probably the best mindset you can have. Because then you can just be like enjoying it, like, ooh, what, ooh,
So
that I just did
open
that, or
mind,
he.
the container of the mind having nothing in it. What is
Right.
nothing? Isn't nothing something? Anyways,
Yeah, I guess
so
so.
so
It's a
anyone out
weird
there
thought.
listening can definitely relate to, like, I don't know who you are if you can't relate, but I'd love to get to know you. Like, being at a music festival, fucking smile so wide. Yeah, this sounds like ancient history. And it's like, holy shit, you're just having this transcendental moment in the middle of like a jam show, an EDM show, literally any kind of genre, music itself. Don't get me wrong, even movies, like people. But to me though, that holy shit, wow, like you just had your mind blown um feeling, it's definitely characteristic to jam music. Like, other music can be more welcoming, more sad, it can have these different feelings, but jam music is this fucking wow factor. So, like, with that being said, how would you describe like Ma Baker's genre in terms of your influences? Like, who are your influences?
Well, collectively, we have pretty broad influences, but we have like a core, that we all are just like, that's funky, and that's kind of what we connect on. And that core is like 70s jazz fusion kind of stuff. So like, Herbie Hancock, Return to Forever, Jeff Beck's fusiony stuff is a huge one. I think that's like really the thing that like if it's groovy, I think we're all just like, yep, let's listen to that. That's like, and we all have a good time. And then beyond that, like me personally, I'm a huge Disco Biscuits, Lotus, that kind of like live tronica type jam band. We all definitely agree that Grateful Dead and Fish are amazing, you know. The list goes on, and as you ask each individual member, it'll spread in different directions. But I think our core is like that 70s jazz fusion, and that's kind of the vibe I think that we give off. I think everybody perceives it a little bit differently, but at least the feeling, like I get like a 70s vibe when I'm playing with these dudes.
So my next question I want to ask you, it's jumping over to the side here. Been playing together for 8 years. Obviously, you know, your band's not joking around. Killer musicality. The jams are locked in. You can tell you guys have been playing for a while. What is something that Ma Baker's looking to do, like in terms of growth, in terms of being better? Like, what is that looking in the mirror, that next step your band needs to take to be at that next level?
All right, cool question. That's like introspective. I think we all understand that we have, you know, as musicians, a personal responsibility to grow and just be the best we can be. Then we have to grow as just a group, meaning like, you know, growing kind of as a family and like knowing how to communicate with each other, how to like get the best out of each other, how to inspire each other. And then as an organization, like Ma Baker specifically, we have a couple of goals for this year where we're coming out with our debut studio album. We're really pushing ourselves to continue like archiving our live shows, putting those out. We put them out on archive.org. This year, a huge goal of ours is to grow into a larger organization. Currently, it's the 4 members of the band, but we're looking to get a sound engineer full-time, a lighting director, and a booking agent. So that's a goal for this year, to just kind of have, you know, more of a larger team of support for when we go on tours, for when we have bigger shows that need some administrative stuff. And I think that'll kind of give us, you know, a push towards the next step.
It's obvious that as a band, you're mindful about the fact that like there's a bond, you're a group, it's intimate. What have you learned about being a great bandmate?
I've learned so many things from being in this band about just being a good person. And I think the best way to be a good bandmate, be a good teammate, is to just listen to your partners or your teammates, your bandmates, and hear them out. You know, you may think you know, we've known each other for 8 years. You might think you know what that person is thinking or feeling, but you don't until you ask them. You know, no matter how well you know that person, this applies to, you know, relationships and of all sorts. But yeah, sometimes just like asking, you know, there's some things that you think that I know this person well enough. I know how they would feel about this. Just ask, you know, just ask. That's the only way to know.
It's crazy the way music itself, improv, how it's, you know, communication, and then just the nature of being in a band, like all these different things apply to real life in so many ways. Like you can be not a jam band fan and doing whatever you do, whether, you know, you work for a company, you know, the myriad of things, there's a lot you can learn from someone like yourself. So that's cool to hear, just like listening, just like so many people assume they know, they like kind of take for granted the need to understand something, because I think they do. That's great advice, man. So jumping on to another topic, the Michigan jam scene crushes it. Big fans of Desmond Jones. There's a lot of other bands, Act Casual, of course, Ma Baker. I'm friends with Gordy from the Gallery Society.
Nice.
Take me through it. What's so good
Uh,
about the Michigan jam scene? Is there something, I'm not trying to talk about the Flint water. Is there something in the Kool-Aid or something like that?
right. Something in the Kool-Aid. There's definitely something in the Kool-Aid in Michigan jam scene. I've come to the conclusion that it's not just like this everywhere, but I definitely thought that everywhere you went, there was just like tons of jam bands rocking out everywhere, you know? The Michigan jam scene is so cool, man. It's like a big family, and it crosses genre to like into funk and soul and different stuff. But just the Michigan music scene is like everyone is so supportive. If you're up and coming and you're doing something cool, like you're gonna get on a bill with the other coolest band in town. There's no like competition or hierarchy. There's a healthy amount of friendly competition, which I thoroughly enjoy because they're all my friends and we like to, you know, chirp at each other and stuff. But yeah, it's like we have the hubs in town in Ann Arbor, like the Blind Pig. We have a ton of smaller venues in Ypsilanti, in Detroit, and we just like kind of all intermingle. We have a festival that we actually throw.
So you throw your own festival, Ma Baker.
It's a collaboration between Ma Baker and Liquid Thickness.
Okay.
Yep. So two bands that I'm both in. And so that's
Wait, you're in that I'm both in. You're in both of those bands?
Yep.
Word.
So yeah, so Liquid Thickness is a funk soul Motown group with a lot of the dudes from the Michigan scene. Yeah. So we throw that festival in collaboration with each other in South Lyon, and that's kind of like this hub for the Michigan scene. So last year or in the years past, we've had Desmond Jones, Stormy Cromer, Chirp, Act Casual, Ma Baker, and Liquid Thickness. Yeah, Biomassive was there last year. So it's just like a family hometown throwdown, and it kind of gives us like a place to just like intermingle. I think there's a lot of jam scenes or a lot of music scenes around the country, I would imagine, where like you don't get the chance to just like hang all night with all the guys and gals from all the other bands. And that's kind of where we get to do that. So we've all grown into like just buddies with everyone. And yeah, and like they all support you. They like push you like, hey man, that song was really cool. What if you did this? Or like particularly Stormy Cromer, if you've heard of them, they're really cool. Jam band with an edge, I would say. But I wrote a set list that I thought would be cool for one of their shows, and they just played it like, and that was cool, as a fan and as a friend. I was just like, oh, this is sweet.
Nice.
So a lot of intermingling stuff like that, man. There's a huge support system here. If you're like an up and coming band and you see a show and you're like, man, there's so many people having a great time at this show. This is amazing. I wish my band could do that. It's like, well, you outside of COVID, well, you can like be on a bill with that band like next week or whenever you want. There's no like, you got to earn your stripes, kid, or anything like that. It's like, it's very cool.
Fuck yeah. Well, if you're listening to this and you're in Ohio, no fear. They'll be here. I believe it's June 4th at the Summit Music Hall. They're going to be stopping by Weird Music Studios, and Michigan band's got a second home here in Columbus. The kind of OSU Wolverines rivalry kind of is outside of the jam scene. Thank God. None of that shit here. So cool to get to talk to you though, man. Wrapping up here, anything you want to ask me, anything else you might want to bring up, a message to the fans, anything like that?
Like I said, we're working on compiling all of those live shows. We're working on our new studio album. We're working on a batch of all new material. We recently got hooked up with a way to record pretty professionally our rehearsals. So we have those for reference, and we're going to be doing cool stuff with that. So essentially, we're collecting this vault of data of cool jams and different things. We're going to be developing that into some kind of subscription service where you can kind of like, help support our group while being able to listen to every show that we put out there will be a ton of different things, like perhaps rehearsal content, like unreleased live shows on video, all kinds of stuff like that. So we're working up this vault, and we're going to be figuring out a way to have a subscription-based service. If you're familiar with like Nugs or Spotify or whatever. So we're working on creating our own version of that.
Wait, so what's good with that? Is that going to be like your own app, your own online service? You're going to go through something else? I know they have like Bandcamp. Like, what's good?
Right. So we're looking at different options here. And the main thing is we want it to be user friendly, right? Like, I know on certain apps, like, I don't want to call anybody out, but there's a thing where you might be listening to a song, or you're trying to listen to a whole show, and then after each song it will stop and make you open it up. Yeah. So we're gonna look at a couple things. It might be a Patreon, it might just be through our website. So either way, we're looking for a way where we can kind of put all of this material that we have, and just like put it up there for anybody. And if you want to support us, and like, that could be a cool thing to do. So
if you're still listening, check out Ma Baker on Spotify. Their live album's badass. Start with Jammy, then go back to the beginning, go through. Jordan, man, I can't wait to keep hanging out when you come to Columbus, dude. I'd love to jam with you. And yeah, I'm excited to see it live and in person at the Summit, June 4th. Dude, killer musician. Awesome dude. Thanks for coming on the Weird Music Podcast. Jordan Smith, everyone.